Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm sorry. I got a mouthful of chocolate. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. It's stuck. How are you guys all doing? It's nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. How are you doing? Sorry. I'm trying to get rid of this. I thought I could get away with just shoving a whole bunch of chocolate chips in my mouth. And it got stuck on the roof of my mouth. So I apologize. How are you? Welcome to Positively Spiritual. My name is Shannon Gilmore, and I usually do not talk with chocolate chips in my mouth. So, how you doing? This place, let me get this situated here. There we go. Are we straight now? Are we straight? Good. Good to go. So, Positively Spiritual is your healing hub where you got questions, we've got answers. We're going to unpack your trauma. You know, sorry, I still got chocolate on the roof of my mouth. You know, many of us are dealing with narcissistic trauma or just trauma in general. Maybe we're dealing with heartache, physical, emotional pain. It doesn't matter. Trauma is trauma. Yes, I'm trying to get rid of this chocolate. Here we dig into it. We dig into the heart of the matter through psychological underpinnings, spiritual assertions, and scientific insight. And we have a really awesome chat group here. Our chat really shows the love. So if you want to find support, healing, help, just use my email. You're welcome to email me, talk with me, and we can sit here and we can talk. And on these lives, we are here twice a day, once in the afternoon, and then we're here at 10 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. We're here every day. Every day we are here for you. So please take advantage of this video channel and let me know what you think. If this is up your alley, then great. And if you're looking for some answers and you're want to see a video on a certain topic, just say, hey Shannon, what do you think about this? Can you talk about this? I mean, you guys do that with me many times. You guys have sent me emails or texts, or sent me chat and say, hey, can we talk about the demonics of narcissism? Can we really? Like, nobody's talking about it. Yeah, we do that. We talk about it. So welcome. Come on in. Okay, so tonight, it's just going to be a short and sweet video. I don't think it's going to be too long tonight. It's a Wednesday night. I think, or is that Thursday night? Certain programs are on. Hi, Sophia. How are you doing? My day was well, thank you. I had a really lovely power walk in the rain. I got wet feet, but other than that, there's nothing to complain about. It was awesome. It was a lovely walk in the rain. And hope you had a good day too, Sophia. It's nice to see you. All right, so tonight I want to talk about nihilism. Have you guys heard this term? It's not, it's not a term that goes around in, social circles like we talk about narcissistic trauma or narcissistic personality disorder, but nihilism is a relevant topic, and it's the word alone carries a weight that does feel suffocating if you know what nihilism is. Nihilism is a belief that nothing matters. No truth is absolute, and no purpose exists. I personally deal with this many times when dealing with people who are deciding and making the choice to end their lives. Have to be careful what we say on YouTube, but that's the long and short of it. And to some, nihilism is a dark abyss, and to others is called liberation. But what if nihilism is not just a philosophical stance? What if it's a life experience, a psychological state? It's an invisible wound. You're good. Good to hear, Sophia. Awesome. For narcissists, nihilism is a shield. It's a way to reject meaning so they can have their, well, so they don't have to face their emptiness. That's it right there. Like, narcissists can, not all narcissists are nihilists, but narcissism can lead to nihilism. But here's the thing, for us who are targeted by narcissists, who are victims of narcissism, victimization can lead, and often does lead, to nihilism. Nihilism for us is a wound, and one we never asked for, but we have to learn how to heal it. That's what we're healing, the narcissist nihilism projected onto us. So this, for me, is a paradox that I want to explore tonight. We're just going to be brief. You know, it doesn't need to be complicated. But when we touch on these things, you know, it kind of gives us a better understanding and helps us to shift our focus back onto us, right? So what is nihilism, and what it isn't? Like, what is it and what is it not? Well, at its core, nihilism is the rejection of inherent meaning. It takes on many forms, such as an existential nihilism, meaning that life has no intrinsic meaning or purpose. There's the moral nihilism, where right and wrong are illusions created by society. And there's the epistemological nihilism. That's kind of a mouthful to say, but it simply means that truth is subjective and nothing can truly be known. Nihilism is not just a philosophy. It's a response to suffering. Hi everyone, how you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome, my name is Shannon Gilmore and you are watching Positively Spiritual. Hi, we got a small crowd tonight, so that's okay. That's quite all right. You know, we've been going really heavy on these videos lately. Like, we've talked about a lot. And I have to say, after today's video, I actually had what I call practical application. I had my test. I had a situation come about in my life, and you know, what did I learn? Do I continue to lie to myself? I had these feelings come up as I went for my walk, and I was just like, okay, God, these feelings are real. What's going on here? And God's talking to me the whole way through, and some hidden trauma got revealed. And so I'm just like, okay, well, is that true? Is it false? Am I right in feeling this, God? Like, do I have a right to feel this? Like, I know something happened to me when I was little, so do I have a right to feel this? And God said, well, yeah, because you never mourned. You never mourned the loss. And I went, you're right. And it was a very difficult thing to shake. And so I just talked it out with God and met it with radical authenticity. So I just want to sideline note that our lives, whatever you guys are going to learn, whatever you take with you, know this, that God's going to come knocking, and things are going to be shared with you to put your learning knowledge, that knowledge that you gained, to the test. And yeah, sometimes you'll get it and sometimes you won't. Sometimes it'll be hindsight and be like, oh, I didn't think of that. That's what that was. And for me, even though God was sharing with me insights, I couldn't shake the sadness. And I found myself, I'll admit, I stifled my grief. I haven't dealt with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to cry. I'm tired of crying. The situation that I'm facing, it's like, okay, I like crying. Like, crying is therapeutic, but this is like something deep transpired from the knowledge given to me today. And I wasn't blindsided, but some new insight came out of it. And it's like, oh, so that's the reason why I lost my mother to alcoholism. I lost her twice because there was a situation that caused her to have a suicide attempt in front of me and my older sister. I don't remember that, but my sister was there. And it's like, oh, so no wonder I'm involved in suicide outreach and helping other people. I get it. I get it. This followed me around, and I'm turning a bad thing into a good thing. I get it. I'm great with that. I'm happy to be here and do what I'm doing. But on the same token, dealing with this today, okay, because of what happened, this deep sadness, I almost lost my mom to suicide, but I lost my mom to alcoholism. And I've never mourned that. I want to cry, and I'm stifling it because we talked about this the other day, about this deep-seated grief. And it's not just a grief of losing a loved one. This is a deep, it's like a grief when you lose a loved one, but it's like a heartbreak. It's a heartache. And I'm putting on a tough front right now because you know why? Because I'm scared. I'm scared that if I allow myself to cry, I might never stop. Because when I was placed into a foster home and I projected my grief on somebody who I knew cared for me, my sister. I was separated from her, and so I cried almost every night. Going to sleep at night, I would cry myself to sleep, mourning the loss of her and projecting, assuming that, yeah, I was mourning the loss, but I never allowed myself to grieve the loss of my mother because I had always known that she was not, you know, my older sister got the best of our mother. I saw the worst. And so I just like never mourned any, you know, her, because it's like, why mourn something that I never had? And I know what that, you know, that loss felt like, crying every night for 10 years. And I don't want to be in that position again. So I'm sharing this with you guys, not to say, look at me, but I'm sharing with you guys how the stuff that we learn in this video is going to bring up stuff for you too. So please be aware of that. Be prepared, because sometimes it's going to catch you off guard and you might not see it. And you might trigger and you might react like me today. I'm going for a walk, everything's fine, but I've got this heaviness going on. And I'm just like, started talking with God and asking. And I'm just like, God, what is this? And God's like, you never mourned the loss. I mourned the loss of my sister, but that was, you know, a projection. And I mourned her loss, but there was still, you know, I used that as a front to prevent me from losing my mother, losing my family, losing my identity, losing a lot. But it pays to get honest, because now that I can see that, now that I can see it and I can feel it, I'm in control of it. I will deal with it when I want to and when I'm ready. I know it exists now, so I will deal with it. And I'm not going to let it leak out in other areas of my life and explode and you know, rage at somebody else. No, I'll deal with it. I promise you I will. But, you know, and I'm thankful for these videos, because without these videos, I probably would have just freaking lost it. Like, and I would have been a basket case, and I probably would be too upset to do a video. So I just want to say thank you guys. This is awesome. So, yeah, so you too, Sophia. Oh, Cynthia, thank you. No, everything's good. It's just, we did our video today. Hi, Resistor. How you doing? Hi, everyone. Thanks for showing up. No, we just did a video today, and it was being, you know, practicing radical authenticity, being truthful, and you know, not lying to ourselves, not allowing ourselves to gaslight ourselves. Every time we have these thoughts of, you know, I'm unworthy, I'm abandoned, I'm alone, I'm rejected. You know, these feelings are real, but are they valid? Are they truthful? And they're not truthful when you stand them up against the Word of God. But sometimes as kids, or when we're traumatized and, you know, we've been emotionally immature in our trauma, we can't figure this out. So we need some help. And so for me, excuse me, I just started thinking, and my mind went to somewhere that I have a hard time dealing with. And so, all right, if you want to hear it, my mom, she got involved with a married man, and she didn't know he was married. And he finally confessed, and I have memories of him. He was the closest thing to a dad to me, and I remember spending time with him and him taking me to the store. You know, he paid attention to me. He loved me. He took care of me. And that day, all I remember is I was in the living room. He had a private conversation with my mom in the bedroom. He walked out, never looked at me, never said goodbye, and I knew that it was the end. And I remember watching him out the big picture window, and I see his car drive away, and he never looked back. Like, he never said goodbye, nothing, and that was the end of it. So that really hit hard, because, you know, I associated that with nice guys. And so in my teenage years, when you're, you know, start dating, I wasn't allowed to date until I was 16, and nice guys were interested in me, but I was just like, ooh, ick, no. And I went for the bad boys, and the bad boys are ooh, ick. It's not, the nice guys don't leave. See, I didn't know the backstory, and so I told myself a lie. What was that lie? Nice guys leave. And so I prevented myself from having healthy relationships. So, hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. So, yeah, so I dealt with that today, because that was a lie that I told myself, because I didn't have all the facts. This person wasn't a nice guy. He led my mother on. And because of that, she tried to unalive herself. And also because of that, she started drinking. And because of her drinking, she was extremely neglectful with me, with her life, with, you know, family members. Like, her own dad stopped, you know, coming around, checking on us kids. I mean, because of this alcoholism, it turned the whole entire family upside down and twisted. And so yeah, so I was thinking about that today, and I just like, wow, I believe some lies, and it's time to get radically authentic. And I didn't find out my mother's suicide attempt until like probably about 6 months ago. So I can understand why. Like, I've never been suicidal myself, but I can understand it. I mean, I hear people talk to me about it. I sit and I've talked to so many people about it, and it's a type of nihilism. But I have a pale understanding from when my husband, when I found out, we were 4 years into our marriage, so we were like newlyweds, and he cheated, and I found out. Well, he didn't confess, but I mean, I put 2 and 2 together, and I used my instinct. Like, my gut was telling me everything is wrong, like he's fooling around. And I confronted him, and he denied it. And I tried to forgive him, tried to talk to him about it. And then 2 years after, pushed it under the rug, tried to move past it. Then he confessed because he needed something from God. And he said, God's not going to give me this gift if I don't confess to you. I cheated on you. And it was, he wiped his hands clean, so there. And that just brought out things in me that I didn't want to address. And that was the closest thing. Like, I had never been so depressed in my life. My world, like I questioned who I was as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as his so-called best friend. I was like, he's the one that said, I want a tight relationship. I'm like, okay, I'm in. You're my ride or die. And here he's the one. And I just like messing around, and I'm just like, what am I doing this for? It caused me to tap into nihilistic tendencies. Like, what the hell is life worth living for? Like, what is there, God? Like, what are we doing this for? Like, it's just people's bad behavior and bad decisions. We take it personal. And that's another thing I was thinking about tonight on my walk. Like, that's why these feelings rise up in us, because we take things personal. And yeah, just because they happen to us personally doesn't mean that they're happening to us for personal reasons, because we're good or bad. And when you can distance yourself from the personal aspect and understand that bad things happen to us because of the light inside of us, because Jesus is inside of us. They will hate you because of me, he says. If Jesus is saying, don't take it personal, then I don't know what he's saying. If he's not saying that, like, what is he trying to tell us if he's not trying to say, don't take it personal, kids? That's what he's trying to say. Don't take it personal. They'll hate you because of me. So armor up. Armor up. So the videos that we've been doing on these lives, they're helping me too. And thanks for letting me share, because, 6 months ago, a year ago, if this stuff would have been brought up, I would have been crying my eyes out a basket case, just losing it. But, there's a sense of maturity and emotional maturity. I'm seeing it in you. I'm seeing it in myself. This emotional maturity is what is taking us where we need to go. Love's back to you guys. So it's really amazing. This channel is needed for all of us, for the people who we have yet to meet. And I'm just thankful to be a part of this. And I really did take our lesson today and yesterday to heart. And I was, You know, for 2 hours, I went on my power walk, walking in the rain, stepping in wet puddles, getting wet socks, and just like, oh, but at least my feet are warm. And I'm just like, yeah, this is good. This is nice. And it just, you know, and then the fog started coming in, and I'm walking down, you know, it's dark out, and the street's isolated, and it's starting to get foggy. And I'm just like feeling one with God and one with my thoughts, and just feeling free. Like I just like, wow, this is pretty cool. You know, like this is right on. Like this didn't take long to get over. It didn't, you know, I've still got the crying, but I'll do that in my own time. But the understanding is there. And that's what I like. I love human nature, and I'm just a sponge for understanding. Like this is what I thrive on. So, yeah, so I hope that you guys come to some understandings in your healing too, that just help you rise above. You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to challenge yourself and to see where you've been lying to yourself, and to have lies revealed. It doesn't have to be devastating. And it doesn't make us bad because we've been believing lies. We just need to turn away from them and just learn a different perspective. And that's okay too. It really is. So let me just go back. So Cynthia says, I've been there, Shannon. Happened to me. It rocked my world. Aw, yeah. So his live stream was, oh, Cynthia, okay, his live stream was awesome. I believe Holy Spirit guided you. Oh, what are you talking about? Okay, somebody had a live stream. Oh, Michael had a live stream. I'm going to have to go watch it. All right. All right. So Resistor says, I find myself reflecting and remembering so much since I ran across you, Shannon. Well, that's awesome. That's good, because, you know, self-reflection is awesome. I really think it's beneficial, you know, obviously, for obvious reasons. But, you know, that's one thing, when you can self-reflect and not judge yourself and just look at things of how they used to be and how they are, and really see yourself from how God sees you. Like, you can ask God, God, how do you see me? How do you see me, God? Who am I to you? Ask him. He'll tell you. And when you hear that, when he tells you, that's the, you know, it's not our business to know what other people think about us, but it's our business to know what God thinks about us. So that's how we can get better, because God will tell you, you know, this is wonderful about you, and, you know, this, he's not going to say, not so much this, he's just going to say, you know what, I'd like to see this. Or, you know, you can do this. I have hopes for you doing this. Instead of saying, oh, I need you to do this, or you could do better, he'll be like, I have hopes for you to do this. You know, my plan for you is to do this. I encourage you. Like, he's so loving, and he'll speak the language that your heart knows, like that your heart will listen to. Because he speaks in a delicate tone that ministers to your heart. He's not going to be bold and tell it like it is and be blunt and brutal and honest to the point where his truth hurts you. No, we don't have to be scared. We don't have to be scared. And it's beautiful. Having a relationship with God is beautiful. It's a beautiful, loving, tender relationship. So Cynthia says, I now understand why I was with the narcissist. I am so grateful to God I'm not the same person anymore. I was a sitting duck for the enemy. Good to hear that you say that. You know, We all have our lessons. We all have our lessons, don't we? And some hurt more than others, but it's all good. It's all good. So, nihilism isn't a philosophy. It's a response to suffering. When life feels unbearable, nihilism offers a cold but simple solution. Detach. Stop believing. Stop caring. It's the ultimate emotional shutdown, and that's what narcissists go through. But we also go through it. When we come out of that narcissistic relationship, we kind of tend to become a little bit nihilistic. Oh, all men are alike. All women are alike. Oh, there's nobody there to love me. You know, we've been through that. We've been through that. And we ask, what the heck? Like, we've been so desperate where we just feel like giving up. And maybe for a time we do. Maybe we just hide ourselves under the blankets, you know, on the couch watching a soap opera, eating Cheetos for a week or two. We just don't care. Just don't care. Or maybe this lasts for months. With some people it lasts for years. And it lasts such a long time that they can't even remember the last time they felt joy. Nihilism is not the same as freedom. True freedom doesn't come from rejecting meaning. It comes from choosing meaning, even in the face of meaninglessness. And this is where narcissism and the victims or the targets of narcissism take two different turns. Okay? So there's nihilism and the narcissist. Narcissists at their core are emotionally hollow. They don't build an authentic identity because it seems like they're too busy curating an image from other people. But they need our image. They need some sort of image to hide behind, right? And they have to do that because they can't seek within, because inside of them is so bleak. They do have a nihilistic attitude. Oh yeah, if you really were a fly on that wall in a narcissist household, oh, you'd hear it. You'd hear it. I hear a lot. I hear a lot of negativity from people. And it's hard to, when somebody has their, heels dug in and they won't move. I guess life is just the way it's gonna be. Nah, I'm too old, I can't change, and I guess God is just he wants me to be like this. I guess God just doesn't care about me. I've heard it. I've heard a lot of it. And it doesn't get any easier over the years. Like, it really doesn't. But you'd be surprised how people do hide their nihilism. And it comes out when things are going good. It's kind of like, okay, I'll forget about that. Their nihilism is forgotten about, but it's kind of put on the back burner because they don't trust the good things, but they've got a few good things to kind of keep them preoccupied. But as soon as something smashes through that's just negative, it's like, oh my gosh, the world has ended. Like, the world just loses all meaning. There's no rhyme or reason to life, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's very distressing and it's disturbing. And you'd be surprised that we, victims of narcissism, we've heard it. We've heard the nihilism from them. We've just chosen to, oh, no. We cater to that by going, oh, no, don't say that. No, don't think that. Here, let me help you. No, things will get better. I promise. I'll help you through it. I'll work you through it. Yeah. Yep, we've been through it. Hey, Harmony, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. Come on in. So the narcissist doesn't seek real meaning from life and their relationships. All they want is external validation to prove themselves, I don't know, wrong maybe, I don't know. They're out to prove that life does have some sort of meaning, even if it's superficial. See, our attention gives the narcissist life meaning. Without it, they tank. They tank. Through people's attention, the narcissist finds value in life, and that's where they get their value, from us. In this way, they embody a form of nihilism, as they reject the meaning of other people, like the meaning that other people give their lives. And they're not sympathetic or empathetic, as narcissists naturally reject life's meaning because they can't identify themselves in life, because they can't identify themselves with joy. They can't identify themselves with anything good. They're powerless to create a life for themselves because they lack empathy. They can't self-reflect. So, you know, they think, oh, it's confusing, but when you pick it apart and really dissect it, it's not confusing. I don't want to use their term because they say everything's pathetic, you know, and I don't like using that word, but it can't get any more bleak and obvious of what they really think of life. Yeah. And it's disturbing. And the thing of it is, though, narcissists, they help give our lives meaning as they help us to see how we give our lives meaning. So there is a silver lining, but it's not for them, it's for us. So, number one, the narcissist's relationship with the truth. A true nihilist questions truth itself, but a narcissist simply reshapes truth to fit their needs. Truth doesn't serve them. Truth, like, they distort the truth. And if morality gets in the way, well, they just throw the truth out the window. The truth is whatever makes the narcissist look good. The past is whatever makes them the victim. The reality is whatever allows them to keep control. So, I mean, what they're doing is a type of nihilism, but it's not true philosophical nihilism, but it's similar in a way. A true nihilist might reject moral values, but a narcissist pretends to have them. They don't reject them per se, they just pretend to have them because it benefits them. Their nihilism is not intellectual, it's manipulative. Number two, the narcissist's relationship with others. Well, if for the nihilist, if life has no meaning, neither do relationships, but narcissists live as if people are objects meant to be used and discarded and replaced. So they don't see others as individuals with intrinsic worth, but only as sources of supply. But there's a twist. The narcissist still desperately craves meaning. They need to feel important. They need to be admired. They need to control others. A true nihilist just wouldn't care. But narcissists do. Their entire existence revolves around escaping their own inner emptiness. And that's where we come in, because we help them escape that. So there's the nihilism, and then there's the target or the victim. There's a battle for meaning going on here, because us who become victims of narcissistic abuse, we don't start as nihilists. We start as believers. We believe in love. We believe in the truth. We believe in people's potential and the good in others. And we believe that people can change. But over time, the narcissist, the abuse from them erodes the meaning that we give life. And it erodes our intrinsic meaning that we have towards ourselves. This constant gaslighting, the shifting realities, the betrayal, it all leads to one dangerous conclusion. Maybe nothing is real. Maybe love doesn't exist. It certainly can't exist for me because all men are the same, right? Right? I used to say that to my friend. I'd, vent to her, and I'm just like, all men are the same. I'm so tired of dating. And she's like, don't say that, Shannon. I'm like, I'm never dating again. And she's like, Shannon, God's got someone for you. I'm like, no, he doesn't. And she's like, Shannon, come on, don't say that. So yeah, I used to hurt her feelings by saying that, but I really meant it. Like, I felt it. I really felt it, because it's like, you guys know, how many times do you have to go through a narcissist until you realize, this is a big pattern here. Everybody I'm meeting is a narcissist. Like, what the frick? So it's like, and you try again, because you just don't want to believe that the love of the world has grown cold, right? But that's the beauty of changing. When you start growing and you start changing and you start learning how to respect yourself, hone in on those boundaries and tighten yourself up and really start having a relationship with yourself and feel confident in who you are, then you start attracting the right people. You really do. So, but the thing is, for some people who have been targets of narcissistic abuse repeatedly, you'd start to question, maybe love doesn't exist. Maybe it's not real. Maybe I don't matter enough to be loved. Ooh. This is how we become trapped in forced nihilism. Not because we reject meaning, but because meaning has been used against us. So the thing about this is the trauma of meaninglessness. We did a video here, what was it, a few days ago on, learned helplessness. When a narcissist discards us, they leave us questioning everything. I mean, everything. Like, I had no idea when my ex, when he confessed and just kind of, I wiped my hands clean, so there, I'm done. I confessed that I had an affair, and so now I'm done. And he just assumed that confession was it. That he didn't have to change his behavior, didn't have to make up for it, didn't have to try and meet me where my feelings were and try to help me sort out my feelings and make me feel better. No, I got mad at him because he was ignoring me, and I had this big pot with rose bush in it, and I picked it up and I threw it, and it was outside, and I just like, and I threw it because I was so mad, because I couldn't talk to him, and I couldn't rage at him because he just wasn't giving me an opportunity to talk. He was ignoring me, and I just felt like, oh, if I throw this pot, he'll look at me and he'll listen and he'll see me. No, he just looked at our daughter and he said, your mother's an idiot. So yeah, like, I really didn't think that was a discard, but it was. What many narcissists do when they do that and they leave us alone and abandoned in our feelings, as they bring up these feelings of abandonment that they're guilty for. We wouldn't feel these feelings if we were not abandoned, right? But they just, no. And so that discard left me feeling like, what the hell? And I didn't recognize that, oh, I had a bit of nihilism going on, because I was just like, life has no meaning. Like really, what is this for? What am I here for? If I can't be a good wife to my husband, and I'm being the best wife that I know how, and I think I'm being a good wife, like, if I'm being a rotten woman, at least tell me so I can improve, right? Well, that wasn't the case at all. It wasn't my fault, but I sure took it as it being my fault, as that's what we do. And so nihilism just kind of gets in there because it's been forced on us. What other way is there to think? Certainly there's other ways to think, but when you're going through something traumatic like this, there is no other way. It's either it's your fault, or it's not your fault, and you need to find a way to give this tragedy some sort of meaning to make it make sense. And so when the other person isn't around to help you make it make sense, then you just, I give up. I give up. There's nothing I can do. I guess I am rotten to the core. I guess I'm a bad mother, a bad wife. I guess I'm a bad woman. I don't know, God, why you put me here? Why did you make me a woman? Like you kind of start thinking stuff like that. You kind of go off the deep end with your thoughts. And now when you start thinking like that and you read Job, how he cursed the day that he was born, you can understand where he was coming from. He wasn't suicidal. He was just questioning the nihilism of it all. Like, wow, what? What? We have to give meaning to things because that's how we feel. We evoke our feelings. Our feelings are evoked out of us when we have something meaningful happen to us, whether it's positive or negative. So, this trauma causes the narcissist causes a trauma of meaninglessness. That's trauma in itself, and it's the deepest wound of narcissistic abuse. Because it's not just the loss of love, it's the loss of meaning. And we're left in an existential crisis, an existential void where everything feels uncertain, unreal, and hopeless. And it feels like that for a very long time until we start doing something about it. Nobody else can do this for us. We do it. We end up saving ourselves with God's help. So how we escape the nihilistic trap? See, unlike narcissists, we do have a way out. The narcissist doesn't have a way out, but we do. We choose to reject the lie of meaninglessness. Because it's like, wait a minute. I was somebody before I met the narcissist. I had a thriving life. I had friends. My family loved me. And I had a thriving business. I loved hobbies. I loved to do things. I was laughing. I loved life. Like, I think I want to get back to that again. That is where your hope comes from when you start reflecting on things that you used to do and people you used to see. And, like you just start remembering the good times before the narcissist came along. And this Well, it helps us to, seeing the good times helps us to practice radical authenticity. Something we talked about today. We talked in today's live video. Radical authenticity is the antidote to nihilism. If nihilism is the rejection of meaning, radical authenticity, getting truthful with yourself, is the relentless pursuit of meaning. It's the decision to live in truth. Come hell or high water and nothing but the truth. Even when the truth is painful. So how does radical authenticity heal? Well, you get to reclaim your truth. You stop gaslighting yourself. You start trusting your perception of reality, and you rebuild your identity. You're not what the narcissist said you were. And you discover who you are on your own terms, and you live life on your own terms. You live life your way. You get to choose what is meaningful for you. Even if life had no inherent meaning, you, in your autonomy, create your own. Like, the world is going to hell in a handbag with this political upheaval, Canadian tariffs and Mexican tariffs and all of this stuff. That's fine. We don't have to be a part of that, because we still get to make our lives meaningful. And for me, I'm choosing to concentrate. I got to be up in my own business. I've got my life to live out. I've spent my life, almost 20 years, living my life through the lens of a narcissist. And now I'm starting to, feel good in my own skin and feeling confident about myself. And, I've got a business to run. I've got a life to lead. I've got things to do, people to see, things to, I want to go and travel the world and see the Grand Canyon and see God's great creation and go make friends with an elephant in Africa. That's on my bucket list. I got things to do. I don't need to be worried about, who in the political scheme of things is a narcissist and who isn't. I'm tired of the gaslight. They can have their own gaslight. They can do it their own way. They can just go play on their own playground and throw rocks at each other. I don't care. While they sort this out, we're living our lives. And we're living it God's way. And this is so much more, it's freedom. It's not that I'm living in a tiny bubble and ignoring the political. Yeah, I know what's going on in the political front. Yeah, but the thing is, you don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to be a part of the gossip. You can choose to play or not to play. And a lot of this is just a distraction by the enemy to keep you from flourishing in your life, to keep you from learning about God and learning who you are. Because we talked about it today. Our job on earth is not to eke out a meager existence. Is to heal the dead, raise the dead, heal the sick, and cast out demons. And maybe turn water into wine now and again. Maybe walk on water. Not to showboat and say, look what I can do, but for specific purposes. Maybe you don't have a boat. You can just walk on water and walk your way to, Timbuktu. I don't know. But that's the kind of spiritual life we're living. And miracles still happen on this earth. And that's where I'm going. Like, that's where I want to be. And I was thinking about that today, and that's where my thoughts were taking me. Because, you can't get to that from point A to point B, lickety-split, and not work on yourself. You can't be joyful and happy when you're all sad and full of angst inside. You've got to work that out and let it go. So, you get to choose what has meaning in your life. And you get to break that emotional dependency. Your worth isn't dependent on how others see you. And yeah, embrace your vulnerability, because your vulnerability, it's a superpower. The only thing is, we've allowed ourselves to be vulnerable with the wrong people. But when you're vulnerable with the right people, oh my goodness, there's strength in that. There's learning, there's knowledge, there's, a spiritual connection. That connectedness to others is everything. It draws you in because we're one with one another. So healing isn't about rejecting the past. It's about integrating it into your story without letting your past define you. So the final thoughts on this is nihilism is a choice. Narcissists live in a false nihilism. They reject meaning only when it's inconvenient for them, but they secretly crave significance. Their life has meaning when they become the center of your attention and affection, or when you become the center of their affection and attention. Victims of narcissistic abuse, that's us, targets, survivors, thrivers. We sometimes have been forced into nihilism. There's the lies, the betrayal, the emotional manipulation, and it all creates a world where nothing seems real. Oh, Michael, thank you. That is so very nice. A membership. Wow. Yes, I'm working on those, so don't worry, they're coming to you within this week. These videos for your memberships, they're coming. And they're going to be good too. So, but thank you for your membership. That's awesome. So, narcissists, they create for us a world where nothing feels real. But the difference is the narcissist is trapped in their emptiness. They can never escape. We will. We do. We are. Our way out is embracing radical acceptance, radical authenticity, radical truth. As our truth is everything. Because the truth is what we stand on. It's the rock. Jesus is truth and he's the rock. So here's the problem with nihilism. It doesn't just show up out of the blue. It's learned. It's learned helplessness that can lead to nihilism, especially in the context of narcissistic abuse. Learned helplessness is when someone has been conditioned to believe that their actions have no effect on their circumstances, leading to passivity, hopelessness, and emotional paralysis. The state of helplessness can make a person vulnerable to nihilistic thinking, where they begin to feel like nothing truly matters. Like nothing matters. And neither their suffering nor their efforts will do anything to escape it. So, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Another one. Awesome. Thanks. So, what does a membership do? A membership is just where I create special videos for you, for members who, pay $5 or $10, I think, for the gumshoe one. The gumshoe case files, they're the where I share my creative writing with you guys, where we do a radio podcast, where we have this podcast where I narrate a gumshoe detective story where I'm Madam Gumshoe and I catch the narcissist in some sort of criminal behavior. I get hired by, say, I don't know, Vivian LaRue, and she comes into my office and she's like so beside herself, she's just beside herself that she can't keep it together, and she's like, I don't know what's the matter with my husband. He just doesn't love me anymore, and I think he's having an affair. Can you help? And so with this podcast, I put sound effects in, you know, walking away, door slamming, pouring drinks, and, you know, we've got the little jazz music in the background going on. So it's just a little, you know, just something creative writing to help you as I share with you in these stories some narcissistic tells that maybe you can use in your own life. I mean, this is for entertainment purposes only, but they are spoken with some truth as I take the narcissist machinations and mix them in with this story. So that's what the Gumshoe Case Files is all about. And the breathing in is going to be the membership of meditation, meditating on God's word, meditating on positive affirmations. I'm working on, you know, affirmations and breath work for depression, for anxiety, for sadness and guilt. And and I'm working on using the word of God so that you can put these affirmations or this meditation, you can use it to sleep, go to sleep, and you'll soak in the word of God as you sleep to help you bolster your character and walk in your day-to-day life with confidence of knowing who you are as you are God's child. So God's word gets rid of the negativity. You know, we have to take hold of our thoughts, right, and hold them captive to the word of God. Well, when you're sleeping, see, when you just at the point of just slipping off to sleep, you're still aware of your surroundings, but you're starting to, your mind is starting to go off into the dream state. Well, that is called the hypnagogic state. And that is a state of hypnotism. It's a real thing. It's not woo-woo. It's not where demons come in. But see, in Hebrew times, the Bible does say, teach your child in the ways that they will go, and when they're older, they will never leave it. Now, one of the mandates in Numbers or Deuteronomy, where God says, when you walk along the road, when you put your head down on the pillow, when you're at the dinner table, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, when you're walking around, talk about God. So the Hebrew family was always talking about God, always singing, always talking about God. These little kids, even the mom and dads, even when it was just mom and dad time. You know, husbands and wives were coming together talking about God. We've lost that. So what better way to have our thoughts focused on God than when we're going to sleep? And there is a book out there called Baby Talk. And it is science-backed understanding that you can train your child in the ways that they should go while they're sleeping. And I've done it. This book, I don't have it anymore, but when my young daughter, she's now 24, when she was like a baby, I bought this book and we whisper. And even my ex-husband tried to whisper stuff to me and I'd catch him, you know, because he was trying to get me to brainwash me into doing some stupid things, but I'd catch him. But with babies, it's like their minds are developing and impressionable, and you whisper loving things. I love you. You can do anything you put your mind to it. I am so proud of you. You are loved by God. You are blessed. You're my sweetheart. I love you. You know, you're mommy's little girl. You're mommy's little boy. Mommy loves you very much. Daddy loves you very much. Just saying these sweet things to your children as they sleep has been proven to just bolster their confidence and their empathy and their whole demeanor. It allows them to find meaning in life. And so this is what this will do. This meditation membership, breathe in. We'll go through some breathing exercises, because there's a few out there where you can breathe through your mouth, breathe through your nose. You can breathe through either side of your nose. I know it looks funny, but yeah, you can just, you know, it's an ancient Chinese secret where you can breathe through one side of your nostril and the other, and you know, the different breath work techniques is just invaluable. So that's what we're going to do. So the videos are coming. They're coming. So yeah, so that's what we've got going on, and these memberships will help get this video channel seen, as it'll show the algorithms on YouTube that, hey, we're going somewhere. We're bringing attention to this channel. This channel is just, it's got a purpose. So yeah. Oh, pranayama, you know it, Cynthia. See, you know it, awesome. So yeah, it is always a privilege to see compassionate people, absolutely. So I used to hold and speak to my sister, friend, cousin's fiance, and my sister-in-law's belly. Aww. See, that's, and you talk to your baby in your belly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, not enough parents do it. I certainly didn't. I mean, I did when I started seeing the babies move, you know, the little foot move, you know, and get a little punch, and I'd be like rubbing my belly, but certainly I never allowed their dad, or their dads never wanted to speak to my belly. But yeah, I'd be like in the bathtub, and I'd be like, you know, massaging my belly, saying, "Mommy loves you, hi," you know. And but you know, we don't do it enough. And so yeah, we need to do that for ourselves as well, because what are our thoughts day to day? Our thoughts when we go to work, when we come home. Like, we may not say things like, "Oh, I gotta make dinner, I don't want to," but we certainly feel it. We certainly complain, like, "I don't feel like doing it. Why do I always have to cook dinner? Why? I just don't want to. And you know what? And my daughter's not going to eat it. She doesn't like Brussels sprouts, or she doesn't like broccoli, and I don't want broccoli." And it's just, oh, why can't somebody else? You know, that negativity. Or even at work, like, gee, another day, another dollar. My boss sucks. My boss is just you know, he's just so mean. You know, so it's like, if we go into our day with a happy demeanor, even though it feels like it's, you know, Groundhog's Day repeated over and over and over again, when we change our outlook and, you know, say, "This too shall pass," and start having a different outlook on the tasks that we have to do. Like, you know, if you cook with food, like, if you cook with food, yeah, of course you cook with food, duh. But when you're cooking, do you know, when you cook with love, your food tastes different? If you're in a bad mood, if you're thinking negative things, if you're distracted, if you're grumpy, you have a higher risk of burning your food and ruining it. When you go to a restaurant, they can give you the same recipe any different day, but if the cook is having a bad day, that food's going to taste different. So that's why it's important to pray over your food before you eat it. Because when you pray over your food and you give thanks to your food, you're changing the water structure. So that's what we're going to be doing in our meditation. We're changing the water structure in our bodies. So stay tuned, because this is going to knock your socks off. You're going to get benefit from it. So okay, so nihilism doesn't have to be your final destination. The antidote to both learned helplessness and nihilism is radical authenticity. The commitment to truth, personal agency, and self-rediscovery. By unlearning the lies imposed by the narcissist and reclaiming personal responsibility, a person can shift from feelings of powerlessness, or is that word powerlessness, to finding purpose beyond the false narratives that they were conditioned to accept. The real antidote to nihilism isn't pretending that life has meaning. Yay, it's all fun and rosy-posy. No, that's toxic. The real truth, or the real antidote, is to discover your truth by deciding what you will choose to believe. You want to choose the narcissist, or you want to, you know, have fun trying to find out what the truth is. You know, life is an adventure. And when you make that decision, you reclaim everything that the narcissist tried to take from you. Resistor says, I'm glad that I can cook. Yeah, me too, because it sucks eating out all the time, doesn't it? It's not healthy for you eating out all the time. So we have to forgive ourselves fully, says Michael. Absolutely. 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 Oh, Cynthia says, I am retired. I worked 27 years teaching. Now I work part-time. Oh, a teacher in the house. Ooh. So it was funny because I'm a homeschooling mom. So in my area, when teachers, like there was a lot of teachers in my area when I lived on the farm. And, you know, people would, you know, I'd meet people in the grocery store or at the bank or whatever, and we get talking and they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a homeschooling mom. And, you know, they're like, I'm a teacher. And they just be so stern. It's like they just, people, the teachers in my area just frowned on homeschooling parents. And I don't know why that is or why that was, but I mean, I think homeschooling parents should get together with teachers and collaborate. I mean, you know, the two is better than one, and a teacher and a homeschooling mom is a power duo, a power couple in academia, and can just, you know, just collaborate and create some really awesome things for students. There's an idea. Somebody go with it. Somebody do it. Who's gonna do it? You go do it. Go have fun. Make it happen. Kids need that to explore, and teachers are awesome. Like, man, the stuff that teachers have to put up with, and the, you know, the creativity that teachers have, you know, because not every child learns one way. There's different ways that children learn, and combining all these ways, it would just make for an awesome, if parents, homeschooling parents and teachers got together, that would be a freaking awesome, epic classroom. I'd be sitting there at my age, I'd be sitting there learning. I'd be like, oh, cool, this would make learning fun. So somebody do it. So anyway, so that's my time tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me today and tonight. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting yourself and showing up. And, you know, these videos that we do, they're not easy to go through. You know, they're pretty insightful, in depth, and I would have to say that yeah, I was distracted. That's okay. For me, they're awesome. I can't, you know, and I'm not saying that from my perspective. I'm saying this from a learning perspective, that I'm learning and growing too, and I feel empowered. Like, whoever, like, God created this knowledge. Knowledge comes from him. I just collected it and put it together, and other people put this knowledge and collected it too, and I just found their stuff and, you know, collaborated their knowledge with my knowledge and stuff. So I mean, all of it is just an amazing resource. So whether you come here or somebody else's platform, or you do your own research, whatever you're learning, keep going, keep putting it to use. You know, knowledge is power, and it's allowing you to put one foot in front of the other, and that's how we learn, and that's how we grow. And I have to say that without these lives, I'd still be stuck. So thank you for helping me get unstuck and unstucking myself. This has been an awesome journey with you guys. So with that said, go enjoy your evening, sweet dreams, and I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow afternoon. Good night, and God bless you all. Mwah. See you soon. Bye-bye.